My name is Donald Jones, and I will be presenting to you Freedom Industries Crisis Management Plan. Freedom Industries Crisis Management Plan consists of an introduction, acknowledgement statement, an incident report form, CMT selection and training, CMT communication strategy, which pertains to vulnerability evaluation, and then also the communication strategy regarding the crisis response. One of the early portions of the crisis management plan is the acknowledgement statement. All employees are required to fill out and sign the acknowledgement form. This basically states, I have read the crisis management plan and understand my responsibilities in the event of a crisis. As an employee of Freedom Industries, I will act in accordance with the CMP, which is the crisis management plan, and follow any and all directions and instructions from the crisis management team to the best of my abilities. In the event I am unable to perform a function, I will notify Freedom Industries CMT in order for them to take appropriate action. This document is, again, signed by all employees, similar, usually at the beginning of their employment. It just acknowledges that they will cooperate with the company in the event of a crisis management. One of the most valuable forms that is included in the crisis management plan is the incident report form. This form includes all the pertinent information that is to be collected in the event of a crisis or an incident. All information as to witnesses, addresses, statements, all that information is collected on these forms. It serves a couple different purposes. One is to collect information, and two, it also is utilized in creating a corrective action plan that the crisis management team will use to either stop the crisis or correct a crisis. Like all companies, the most important part of that company is the people. So the most important part of the crisis management plan is the team, the crisis management team. The crisis management team is selected by the CEO. It's a 5-person team. The CEO selects all 5 individuals along with the which of those 5 will be the spokesperson and leader. The individuals are usually selected based off of their experience, their ethical and moral compass, and their ability to lead and act appropriately under trying situations. In regards to the crisis management team training, all new team members will be trained in a 1-week-long training course. This course covers different crisis management topics and all other topics in regards to handling crisis situations. In order to become the spokesperson, an employee must be first, like I said earlier, nominated by the CEO. Once they are nominated, that employee will be trained to recognize all possible stakeholders that they may be presenting to or speaking to. This individual will also be trained to be able to prepare a specific communication goal for different audiences. The spokesperson will be trained, in addition to being able to create a certain goal for a certain audience, they'll also be to document all their communications for future reference and to be able to document what was said. There are 2 parts to the communication strategy for Freedom Industries. The first part is the vulnerability evaluation. The vulnerability evaluation is done at a monthly meeting by the CMT. Every month, the CMT gets together to review the previous meeting vulnerability logs. This log is all the open vulnerability items, any items that were not closed, and any new items that may be added. This monthly meeting also consists of reviewing the current crisis management plan to make sure that if any changes need to be made or any update is required. The next part of the evaluation is crisis management training. If any new team members joined, they would need to be trained, and if any new type of training needs to occur, this will be discussed at that point. Also, that is part of this meeting is the evaluation of a crisis response. Hopefully this doesn't happen at all meetings, but in the event that a crisis occurs, that following meeting, a evaluation of the team's response will be discussed. And also, the last part is when the next CMT meeting will occur. And now finally, the nuts and bolts of Freedom Ministries crisis management plan, a crisis response. In the event of a crisis, the first thing that needs to occur is a crisis incident report form filled out. This form has all the necessary information that is needed to create a crisis response plan. And the crisis management team creates this plan off of that information and also the training that they've had up to that point. Once they have a crisis response plan in place, the spokesperson and leader will then present to the public and all of the stakeholders what happened, what Freedom Ministries is doing to correct the situation, and any other pertinent information that it is deemed by the CMT that the stakeholders may need. At the same time, the CMT leader and spokesperson is presenting to the stakeholders. The rest of the CMT members should be implementing the crisis response plan. Throughout that entire process, of a crisis response, the CMT leader and spokesperson should do periodic progress reports. This is to evaluate the CRP to make sure it's being effective. It's to gather more information and to allow for more feedback towards the stakeholders, and also to document the crisis response to look back and learn from in the future. And the last step is, once the crisis is over and everything has been corrected, the CMT is to review the CRP, the crisis response plan. This should include the preparedness of the team. Was the team prepared? What actions did the team take? Were those actions affect? These three items in reviewing the crisis response plan will enable the team to learn from what happened and implement lessons learned into the future plan and our future crisis response, and then also future training.